Hi, I'm Kayo Chingonyi. It was my honour and privilege to serve as a judge for this year's Walter Swan Prize. Before telling you a little bit about those poems I chose to occupy third, second, and first place, I want first just to celebrate each and every one of you for entering your poems into this competition. Competitions like this are a space in which we can explore what it is a poem can be and do, and I was deeply moved by the many and various ways each of you chose to interact with that proposition.
Hello, I'm Sarah-Clare Conlon, Apprentice Poet in Residence for Ilkley Literature Festival 2022. I've had the honour of co-judging this year's Walter Swan Poetry Prize 18 to 25 years category alongside my fellow Apprentice Poet in Residence, Rebecca Green. All the competition entries that Rebecca and I had the pleasure of reading showed promise and merit, and also a great deal of thoughtfulness. Some of the poets chose to address the theme of the audience head on. Others approached it through the prism of nature, for example, climate anxiety, the dawn chorus, and even rewilding. Each of the poems we read was accomplished in different ways, and each demanded a second read, making mine and Rebecca's decision very difficult.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Green, one of this year's Apprentice Poets in Residence for Ilkley Literature Festival, and it has been an honour to judge the Walter Swan competition alongside Sarah-Clare Conlon. We had a fantastic response to this year's theme, Audience, with poems spanning theatre, history and nature. What struck me most is the variety of ways in which the theme was interpreted, and it was a privilege to hear each writer's voice shine through their work.
I want to take a moment to highly commend two poems in particular. The Old Crowd by Christopher Horton and Death at the Bolshoi by Patrick Sykes. And now, in third place, Open Mic by Jane Kite, a poem which holds that tension of being in a room in which you're just about to read your poems to a bunch of strangers, in which that tension is sustained from the beginning to the end. I felt like I could hear the heart beating in the chest of this poem, that I could feel its skin crawling with anticipation. Congratulations, Jane Kite.
Open mic. Your strength held in, tense and head down, you walk to the mic, ready as you will ever be. Flash your eyes to check there are some of us out there. And we want to know what words you are made of, what thrum your voice will have, or its sweet tremor, to reach across the divide and find us in this strung air, hum into our minds, our bones. Will you be vengeful or gentle, soft or cacophonous? Can you tilt your voice to edge the words all the way through to us? Can you whisper loud enough to start that real ricochet? We are your listeners. We are pin drop still in the blink before you begin.
In second place is a poem entitled In John Street Market, Bradford 1974, by Susan Szekely. And I want to focus in particular on that Bradford 1974 part of the title, because this is a poem which manages that extraordinary thing that a poem can sometimes do, which is to take us to a particular place and time through the use of concrete images and details. I felt like I was inside that room, that I could see the pieces of meat hanging. I could smell them, taste them. Congratulations, Susan Szekely.
Hello, my name is Susan Szekely, and first of all, I'd just like to thank Kayo Chingonyi, who has judged this competition. I'd like to thank also the Walter Swan team and also the team supporting the Ilkley Literature Festival. Thank you. And this is my poem. It's called In John Street Market, Bradford, 1974. They swung above me from hooks, bent bows of sausages taut with names I couldn't pronounce. Kabanosh, Vieshka, Kolbash, Hurka. The continental stall unsettled me, a Punch and Judy booth of primary colours and foreign tongues, and sometimes old Anna. Mum told me just enough about Nazi experiments, but fear outrang my pity. I'd grip Mum's hand, stare hard at the counter, waiting for the shuffle and drag of Anna's battered feet to pass by, for her shouting to fade, for pigeons to settle again into their comfortable cooing, for smiles to unfreeze in a scramble back to light. Anna's rage and roar have been swept up with cabbage leaves and the brisk takings of more than half a century. Now, it's her absence I fear.
Hi, my name is Sorrel Briggs. I'd like to start off by saying a big thank you to everyone at Ilkley Literature Festival, especially the judges, Kayo, Rebecca and Sarah-Clare, and the Walter Swan Trust for giving me this opportunity. So thank you very much. About the poem, I confess I kind of had half written a poem before I sort of saw the prompt for the competition, and the prompt kind of helped me to resolve it in a way, because I was thinking about, well, it got me thinking about what it means to be an audience for, or give audience to, if you like, the natural world. And also about how the internal and the external are kind of not so distinct as maybe we'd like them to be. And I guess that's what I meant by the ending. So here goes. The plum tree. We couldn't have known its sudden blossoming meant its end. As we saw it, there were no signs. The fruit was sweet and abundant, and the flowers, little mouths with funny pink tongues. We ate what we could, ate till we were overfull, overgrown. We still could not exhaust the tree. As we saw it, nature gave. Was it not our duty to accept, to forget the world can only hold so much sweetness? The robin trilling, spilling sugar water song into the morning, the new rain falling freely as a pardon. the child in the garden turning for no audience but her own delight, as in a mirror, returning to an image full of billowing sky, of tree and blown laundry, and plum blossom.
In first place is Sorrel Briggs with The Plum Tree. This poem immediately struck me by how it looks. Its gradually decreasing lines lead the reader to the end. The structure works well, with split sentences and even split words controlling the pace. Blossoming in the first line and plum blossom at the end create a sense of movement, a circle of life perhaps. And though the poem is tinged with sadness, there is hope in the girl, the robin, and the new rain falling freely. As well as powerful images, there is rich use of language, the assonance of trilling, spilling, billowing, blown, and blossom underlines the feeling of continuity and cohesion, and the parallels between water and reflections are subtle and well executed. It addresses the theme and reminds us that there is a writer and that we are their audience.
The Plum Tree is simply beautiful. I was captured immediately by the evocative language with which such vivid imagery was created. The flow of the writing, the depth of sentiment, it all came together to become a truly great poem. Sightseer brings the beloved cow and calf of Ilkley right into the heart of the poem. John took us on a journey back in time, and his use of rhyme and local history really made for a strong and powerful piece of writing.
Referencing landmarks on Ilkley Moor, such as the cup and ring marked rocks, is a great idea for this competition, yet it is achieved with a lightness of touch that won't alienate readers not familiar with the specifics of the place. The personification of the cow and calf, mother and daughter, as everlasting audience members is a strong image linking generations as well as past, present and future. The formal rhyme scheme shows good technical skill and is reminiscent of Philip Larkin, so another Yorkshire hat tip.
Those men are gone who etched the stone with glyphs of meaning long unknown. They left behind to thence remind all who walked among the heather that they were here and that forever the land belonged to them. Cups and rings are fading now, and slowly they erode to show the rock renewed as they protrude, the mother and her daughter dear, the only timeless mornings here, the cow and calf stand high. An everlasting audience, they've seen the weathered monuments, on windswept fells, on which now dwells a people and their put-up walls. Fleeting sideshow fast unfolds, nature watches on.
In third place is Caitlin Jones with Aniline Dye. The poem uses the theme of the audience to explore mental health struggles, speaking directly to the narrator's concerned observers and dearest patrons. Repeated imagery such as Matinee's Inferno and Delirium of House Lights helps to build tension, working hand in hand with mirrored vocabulary such as hatchet and axe. Internal rhyme and half rhyme and a closing rhyme and couplet illustrates an advanced level of technique.
Aniline Dye takes us on a theatrical whirlwind, full of drama and rich language. I loved the use of internal rhyme, and throughout the devotion to the theme was brilliant.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Jones and this is Aniline Dye. I cannot lie in vain and say there is no performance to my pain. The chattering murmur of concerned observers that batter and burn us. Is it inauthentic to suffer this way? That unearthing of the hatchet, convincing them you're as batshit as you feel, the splitting of this stage, the chiaroscurest inspiration that you flaunt each passing day, the matinee's inferno and the hydraulic applause it rains, oh, to be subdued. But the glue that tacks me together is the laughter, the pathos party that I've crafted. Am I so boring to be indebted to sertraline? They don't know what I've seen. These sickened, vacant horrors laying dormant in my mind may only be regarded as a common axe to grind, but when I'm racked and I'm mangled by this trauma I've untangled, they understand. The delirium of the house lights is a danger, dearest patrons, but your encore yields golder than the wounds and complications. It is worse to have your stillness than ovation.
Well done to Sorrel, John and Caitlin, and thank you to everyone who entered the competition. All the entries were contenders, so a pat on the back to you all. And keep writing. Who knows, next year it could be you.
Thank you so much to everyone who took time to enter the Walter Swan competition this year. It is a brave thing to put yourself forward and submit poetry for scrutiny. We recognise the heart and devotion that goes into writing, and with that in mind, encourage everyone to keep going. And for those who didn't win this time, always, always try again. Your work is truly valued.
If your name hasn't just been mentioned, you may be feeling some measure of disappointment, but I want just to say, keep going. Keep going. Use this moment as an engine for your creativity. Send in your poems again. Keep putting yourself out there. Thank you again for the opportunity to read your work.